What if I told you that for centuries, most of us have been living inside a prison? And no, I don't mean one with steel bars. I'm talking about a prison of ideas. A mental cage that has quietly shaped everything we think, everything we feel, and what we believe is even possible. Now, this isn't some sci-fi plot. This is the story of our reality. And the key to unlocking that cage? Well, it comes from a revolution that happened at the smallest, most fundamental level of the universe.
Seriously, this isn't science fiction. This mental prison was built piece by piece by a specific way of looking at the world, one that came out of old-school classical science. It gave us a universe that ran like a clock, predictable, mechanical, and, if you really think about it, a universe without any real genuine freedom. It's a worldview that most of us just kind of inherited, you know? We never even thought to question it.
So to figure out how to escape, we first have to understand the prison itself. Let's take a walk around the prison yard, so to speak, and check out the rules of this old world, the reality that classical physics gave us.
Okay, so at the very heart of this prison is an idea called determinism. Basically, it paints a picture of the universe as a giant machine. If you could just know where every single piece was and where it was going, you could predict the future with 100% accuracy. This way of thinking turns reality into a movie that's already been filmed. It's just an endless chain of cause and effect with absolutely no room for surprises.
And you can imagine what living a universe like that does to your mind, right? It creates a deterministic way of thinking, a logic where everything is either right or wrong, black or white, good or bad. There's no in-between. And this kind of thinking, it eventually leads to feeling powerless, like you have no real choice in the matter. We're just cogs, playing our part in some giant cosmic machine.
But what if there was a glitch in the machine? What if someone found a crack in the very foundation of this prison? Well, in the 20th century, that is exactly what happened. And this wasn't just a small update to a scientific theory, it was a full-blown mental revolution.
That crack was quantum physics, and it didn't just mess with a few equations, it shattered the entire deterministic worldview. For the first time, humanity was basically handed a key, a way to start thinking outside the box, outside the rigid walls of fate and predictability.
And here's one of the first walls to just completely crumble. For ages, we thought the universe had a center. First it was the Earth, then it was the Sun. But quantum theory shows us that's a total illusion. There is no center. And philosophically, that's huge. If there's no absolute center to the universe, then it forces us to question our own tendency to create fixed centers in our own minds, our rigid beliefs, our identities. It kind of suggests that everything is relative, and our point of view is just one of countless others.
So that realization takes us outside the prison walls for the first time. And the world out here? Well, it's strange. It's completely counterintuitive, but it's also incredibly liberating. So welcome to the new laws of the universe.
This right here, this is the fundamental shift. The old prison rules were all about certainty, fate, things being separate and either-or logic. But the laws of this new, free world, they're built on probability, on connection, and on the truly mind-bending idea that opposites can exist at the same time. This isn't just a new set of rules, it's a completely different operating system for reality itself.
Now, this new logic wasn't an easy pill for anyone to swallow. Not even for the genius who helped kickstart the whole thing. Einstein, he kind of clung to that old world of certainty, famously saying, God does not play dice. But another quantum pioneer, Niels Bohr, his comeback was basically, stop telling God what to do. He understood that probability, not certainty, was now running the show.
And this is the principle that really broke the back of determinism. The uncertainty principle tells us something so profound. The universe, at its very core, is fundamentally fuzzy. And this isn't because our measuring tools aren't good enough. Nope. It's a basic law of nature. There's a built-in limit to what we can know for sure. That means absolute certainty, the very foundation of the old prison, is literally impossible.
This shift from certainty to probability, it changes everything. It means the future is not some single road we're all stuck on. It's a wide open field of possibilities, of potential outcomes. This is where real choice, real creativity, and a whole new understanding of free will are born.
All right, if you thought that was weird, buckle up. Because this next principle attacks our either-or logic head-on. It's called the duality principle. Imagine a coin that isn't heads or tails, but is somehow both at the exact same time until you actually look at it. In the quantum world, things don't have to be just a solid little particle or just a spread-out wave. They can be both, coexisting in this state of pure potential.
And check out how this both-and logic actually works. You take a thesis, an electron, which is matter, and you take its perfect opposite, its antithesis, a positron. Now in the old either-or world, you'd think they'd just cancel each other out. Poof, gone. But in the quantum world, when they meet, they create something totally new, a synthesis, a photon of pure light. Opposites don't just destroy each other, they create something new.
Now think about what this means for us. It's revolutionary. It means a person isn't just fixed as good or bad. We all have the potential for both, constantly dancing inside us as possibilities. And it's our choices, our will, that decides which of those potentials actually becomes real.
Finally, we get to the most mysterious, most profound law of them all, universal connection, or what physicists call entanglement. This idea just dismantles our most basic assumption that things in the universe are separate. It reveals a cosmos that isn't a collection of individual things, but is actually an inseparable web of relationships. Particles that touch just once can be linked forever, no matter how far apart they get. We're not isolated islands. We're all fundamentally connected to everything.
Okay, so uncertainty, duality, universal connection. What does all this weird cosmic science actually mean for you? For me, for our daily lives? Let's bring these cosmic laws right down to earth and talk about unlocking your quantum potential.
When you start to really adopt this new mindset, it's transformative. It gives you permission to break free from that fatalistic, it is what it is way of thinking. You start to see the world not as a set of rigid problems, but as a field of possibilities. It gives you the courage to embrace uncertainty because you realize that's where creativity and freedom actually live.
And really, this all boils down to one ultimate insight. The drive for freedom, it isn't just a political idea or a human desire. It seems to be a fundamental law of nature. From an electron pushing against its boundaries to a person striving for a better life, the universe itself seems to be hardwired for freedom.
There's this ancient proverb that just perfectly captures the whole spirit of this quantum worldview. It's a philosophy that asks us to let go of our rigid ideas about what is and isn't possible, that asks us to open our minds to a universe where the only constant is change and potential.
So, I'll leave you with this final question. The key to that mental prison we talked about, it's in your hand. It's the choice to trade the comfort of certainty for the exhilarating freedom of possibility. So, are you ready to turn that key?